Hey man, definitely follow the directions, go through it. But if you've never installed a centrifugal before, some of the vacuum and coolant routing can be a little confusing. So I was just gonna do a quick thing, hands-on, with the parts that you're getting, just to help make sense of it if you get stuck or anything. I'll start with the coolant. So I'm gonna leave this one piece on the coolant to help make it easier. The coolant tank, you'll see in the instructions, mounts on this side right here. I'm just gonna set there for now. This long piece that's on it here, you're gonna take the trim off and route it. And this piece goes on the side of your radiator. This mid-size small piece that I'm including, this one, it goes into the T here and it connects to the coolant port down here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can follow it from your coolant reservoir there, but it goes in like that to this piece that goes from the coolant reservoir there. And it goes into the T. You're gonna have to move your wiring harness around, but it's in the instructions, so you'll be able to figure that out. The larger coolant spot here, this is gonna go, the straight piece goes on the large port down here, and you're gonna route it down underneath. And I'll hit it with my flashlight real quick. All right, get in here. And it's gonna go to this piece right there, if you can see it. There's a larger coolant tube that you'll have to cut. It's the one I told you I had to cut, but just follow the directions on that one and you'll be fine. The vacuum portion, I highly recommend, even if you don't buy mine, whatever, but I highly recommend getting the oil separator for both the passenger and driver side, because you will get a lot of oil in it. And the supplies that they provide you with to do it, this piece and this piece, are a huge pain in the ass. You kind of have to construct it and build it. So I promise you, if you do it, you'll still end up getting a separator at some point anyways. So that'll save you a ton of time and frustration, and it'll just look smoother and cleaner. And you really need one, because you will get a lot of oil moving through there. I'll start with this piece first. For the vacuum hosing, this piece here that has a T on it there and a T on it there, it's gonna go in to, let's see if I can find a good way to show you. Oh, sorry, scratch that. It is gonna go, where's the bend at? Right here, sorry. This piece here that comes off from behind the throttle body on the manifold, and it goes to the bottom. This piece right here is a 4 inlet check valve. It goes into the bottom of the driver's side. So this piece you're going to take that I included, it's going to go right in here to that spot behind the throttle body that I mentioned, and then the other side of it is going to go into the bottom of this one. I don't want to take this off because it's factory sealed in there. And then the part that comes off of it, you're going to run, and I included some hardware if you wanted to clamp it down or whatever. The part that comes off of it, this part here, you can put to a boost gauge. If you don't have one, then you can just get another strip of this if you want like a clean one all the way there, but I'd recommend getting a boost gauge. You'll want one eventually anyways. And so this longer part is what goes down to your blow-off valve. All right, the driver's side runner hose. So this, I'm including this so you don't have to cut yours up. I bought a cracked manifold for like 20 bucks on eBay just for all the hosing off of it, so that's why I got extra. So this piece, and you'll see in the instructions, this is the one that goes on the driver's side through the little hole in your manifold, and this plugs in to, you're gonna undo this part right here, pull it out, and then the one that I included is just a direct replacement. You'll plug it in there. So it's going to route underneath, and it's got this T on it here. The T part that comes off, you're going to route it under there, and it's going to go to the bottom of the passenger side 4-port outlet, the bottom. The T goes around and goes to the bottom. This portion here is going to go to your inlet tube, and you'll see on the instructions where that goes. The one on the passenger side, it's the same deal. I'm not even going to try to show you because it's hard to get to, but you'll see it, just follow it. This one goes underneath, and it's not like a pull-off, it's a quick connect. So you'll have to get in there when you remove it and press the little gray tab up to pull it out, and then this one will just click into place. If you got big hands, find somebody with small hands to do it, because I can barely get it in there. My hands are pretty skinny. So this one goes underneath in that little slot, just like the other side. And it comes out, and this one actually goes to the top passenger side port. So the one that is on the passenger side that goes underneath the manifold connects into the top. And you just are going to basically pull these off. I think, if I remember right, one of them's, I think the top one is plastic. You can just hit it with a heat gun for a little bit and it'll pop right off. I think the directions may tell you to use a razor blade on it, but you warm it up a little bit. Just put a towel to protect the check valve, but you can hit it with a little bit of heat and pop right off. If you want to cut it, go for it, but if you want to save it, you can do it that way. I think those are all the components. But yeah, 10 out of 10, strongly recommend getting an oil separator for both sides and not messing with that. As far as the bracketry for the blower goes itself, you're better off just looking at the instructions than me trying to explain it, because it'll just be really confusing. Getting the bumper off can be kind of finicky, but there's lots of YouTube videos on how to do that. The washer fluid reservoir, some people keep it in, some people remove it. I personally remove it because I don't feel like there's enough space to get down there without running the risk of the charge pipe, the hot side piping, coming in contact with it and causing some false knock and pulling some of your timing. So if you can live without it, get rid of it for sure. No-brainer. And basically just check if the piping is coming in contact, and keep in mind that driver's side, under load, driver's side of the engine lifts up, passenger side goes down. So keep that in mind when you're routing things, if you're getting it close, because if the hot side or the cold side piping comes in strong contact with anything, it's going to cause a lot of false knock, and you'll be trying to chase it down. So a really common spot for it to come into contact on this side is the fan. You can't see it because this is in the way. You can use some double-sided Velcro tape and just use it as like a padding between it, and that'll fix it. But yeah, just follow the instructions and you'll see what I'm talking about whenever you look at it. If I was confusing it all, just stick with the instructions and you'll be able to figure out what I was talking about with the pieces included through that. And you just use your stock reservoir cap for that. Just make sure you burp it after you fill it up, like squeeze the hose and follow the procedure. I highly recommend some of the videos you'll see to get the front bumper off. They will tell you that you can just turn the wheels one way when it's in the air, turn the wheels the other way to get to the screws. Fuck that. They liars, man. Just take the wheels completely off. Take the fender liners completely off, and you'll save yourself so much headache. And you have to on the passenger side anyways to properly, and well, in my opinion, to get a good view at the blow-off valve to get that in correctly. But trust me, you'll save it. Because there's one little screw that's up right back behind here. And if you try to do it by just taking a few of the push pins out and the fender liner with it's a fucking pain. Just don't even mess with it. Just take the wheels off, take the fender liners off, and get a straight shot to it. I can't think of anything else. I mean, everything else you've probably done before, the fuel injector, spark plugs, whatever. But Yeah, I hope this is helpful. You got any questions, hit me up. Just follow the instructions. They tell you all the routing diagrams as far as the hose, vacuum hoses, the coolant hoses. So just go step by step and just kind of use this as supplementation if you get confused. But just stick to the instructions. These centrifugals can be kind of screwy with the way they set up their hosing. It's definitely more complicated than just a twin screw or a TVS. But I hope that helps. This is on my other car, so it's not, you know, I should have made this before I took it off to illustrate it better, but I just didn't think about it. But I hope that helps. If you got any questions, let me know.